All right. Hello, and thanks for watching this video. If you haven't had a chance to meet me, my name is Chris Madrano, and I'm the church facilities manager for your area. I cover most of Oklahoma with a couple of properties in Kansas, and gosh, I think I'm done then with just Oklahoma and Kansas now. We've lost to the other states that we used to have. So if you're getting this video, it's because you go to a meeting house that's within our area. And I wanted to get a chance today to talk to you about the upcoming freeze. Something you may not be aware of, but wow, over the past several years, we have had, not just here in our FM group, but really in this whole southern region, millions and millions of dollars worth of damage that came from winter freezes. And where some of that is our fault, we did some poor construction in Edmond, and we've had some issues because of that. There's things that are beyond construction, beyond something that we could have stopped. And that has created some very significant loss for the church. And we want to try to help prevent that as much as we can. And we're doing a lot year-round behind the scenes to help fortify and protect those buildings and protect them from the storm. And we're just at a point now where we really need to reach out to the membership and ask for your help in getting stuff done. There's just too much for our group to do alone. So thanks for listening. Here we go. I'm going to jump into these things. I'm going to kind of plow through them really fast. I'm going to give you some opportunities to ask and get some answers to some questions a little bit down the road. So the first one we'll talk about is each building having someone designated or assigned to help with winter prep. Now, it could be one for every day, a different one every day, or it could be one person for the whole storm or for the whole year. However it works best for you. The idea is we don't want to overburden the members, but we know that there are members that live in our communities, that live near the meeting houses, that have the desire and the ability to help out in things like this. So I want you to be thinking about that. Who's that person? It could be the member of the bishopric. It could be your building rep. It could be the young men's president, someone who has a key and who has access to the building so that they can help with the preparation for this winter storm. And we're just going to repeat this every time a winter storm that's this big that comes in. So if we want to keep reusing that same person, it's totally up to you. Reach out to your members and find someone who can, or a group of people who can help with this. All right. We're going to start talking about communications real quick. Once you've identified that person or those persons, if there's one person or you have it assigned to 3 or 4 different people, what I would ask, if it's possible, is for them to send me a text message. So I'm going to put my number there at the top of the screen. Send me a text message, and in that text message, let's put your building name and your name. Okay, your building name and your name. If you could do that for me, that would be really great. If you could imagine how many different people I interact with, it's very difficult for me to know who I'm talking to from one moment to the next. So use the number above. If you've got someone identified, just send a quick text. I'm in the Skytook building and my name is Chris. That's all I really need. That'll be a great introduction so I know who my person to contact would be during this storm event. The next thing we're going to talk about is daily inspections. So what we're looking for, I'm looking into weather, and I think we're all in, and we have between the Tulsa and the Oklahoma City area and the Stillwater and Bartlesville area, our temperatures do vary, and one of us may receive more harsh than the other. But I think it's all pretty well. Friday begins our first dip. So by Friday, what I'm hoping for is that building inspector has been able to make it to that meeting house, begin to become familiar with the building, to be able to find the water shut off, to be able to know all of the different maybe spots that could be an issue for you. And I get it. I'm not expecting you to have any experience, just someone who could go and do simple things. we'll learn these as we go, and me knowing what person is at what building, I will send them specific information that I already know is important for them. So really what I'm looking for is by Friday that someone has just identified, hey, I'm helping out at this building and I've found the water shut off. Now, a lot of those, there's two places that we can find water shut offs. In many of our buildings, we'll find in the custodial closets, there may be a main water line shut off. And that's a pretty good spot to shut it off because that typically will shut it off to the entire building. And the only danger is really from that valve out to the street. But those are typically pretty large lines. They're typically pretty well insulated. So if you happen to be fortunate enough, like the building in the Stake Center in Stillwater, in their custodial closet right across from the restrooms, there's a shutoff valve in there. If you're lucky enough to have one of those, any of the a lot of the old Sage buildings like Sapulpa, Owasso, Guthrie, those type of meeting houses, they'll typically have a shutoff valve in the custodial room that's there right off of the corridor. So get out there, take a look, find out where that water shutoff valve is. And in some cases, it may be in the street. And so it might be beneficial for you to be able to get out to the street and find that. The sooner the better. If you have a tool, if it's accessible to use the tool that you have, go ahead and run through practicing turning the water off and turning the water back on. If you need a tool, send me a text message, building name, and my phone number's still there. So building name, and say, hey, we don't have a water shutoff tool. Can you get me one? I'd be happy to get you one. Just put in that text message. Some of you may go to a meeting house, but you live somewhere else, not close to the meeting house. So if you've got a Lowe's or Home Depot, shoot me an address of the Lowe's or Home Depot that you use, and I'll go on and buy you a tool and put it in customer pickup so it's ready for you. Whatever we can do to make it simple for you to help us, that's going to be really great. So that's going to be our big key. I'm going to go ahead and ask that you go through the motions on Friday of shutting off the water, and then just kind of walking through the meeting house and opening up all of the spigots so that they're draining out that water pressure, the air's moving through there, and we can hopefully prevent the domestic water from breaking and freezing. Okay, if you're going to occupy the space, then we're going to ask that you coordinate that with the bishoprics, whoever's going out. Make sure y'all are coordinating together. Hey, I've shut the water off. Okay, make sure you have it back on by this time because we're having a baptism or whatever else that we're going to do in the meeting house. And turn that water back on for them. Go around, shut off all of the valves. Make sure you give yourself adequate time in the building before you leave. Don't just turn the water on and leave. Make sure you give adequate time to turn the water on, walk around the facility, look and listen for any signs of a busted pipe. And I think we need to continue to do that for a given period of time. We're not looking at coming above freezing maybe until Wednesday. So let's keep close eye on the weather. Wednesday is we're above freezing. We're going to start seeing those lines start to pop Wednesday and Thursday, and well into Friday. So we want to be cautious and make sure that as we're watching that weather, when we see that it's going to rise above freezing, typically we look at about the 40s before we start to see those type of lines that are inside our building actually thawing out enough to show their cracks, their breaks. So let's make sure that we're in the meeting houses at least once a day up until the day that we expect the building to start to thaw. And when we see that it's starting to thaw, then it'd be great for us to pop in there twice a day and just check and make sure that nothing has broken. If you've got the water off to the building, and the fire suppression is off at the building, then it's maybe not so important that you're using two times a day, but for sure, if we're turning the water back on, if we're turning the water on in the morning for something, we will make sure to go back in the evening and turn it off and check it. Just use wise judgment. I trust you guys will know exactly how to handle that. You're already doing these types of things in your own homes. And if you have particular questions about it, please reach out to me at the number listed above. And again, I'm asking that you, just through these winter freezes, that you do not call me, that you text me. Even if you need to talk to me, send me a text message. New Haven Building, Chris, please call me. I have an urgent need to talk to you. That way I can know who I'm calling, who I'm talking to, and make myself available to do that. All right, so we've talked about shutting off the water, turning the water back on. I do want to show the emergency phone number, and we'll use this number here. The emergency number that's listed is 918-292-8000. And during the day and during the night, those numbers or the message behind those numbers will change. So just listen to them thoroughly and make sure you're listening for the number that it tells you to press to report an emergency. And if you get to a building and the building is flooded or struck by lightning or whatever catastrophe, something's really already happened, or we're out of prevention now, we've already had disaster, your first phone call will be to the hotline so that we can get our third-party vendors starting to roll on that. And then your second contact would be to myself. Again, for the most part, I'm not going to be answering unrecognized phone numbers throughout this time just because there's so many people. So send me a quick text that you have an emergency at the building, and I will immediately call you back. Once we've had a conversation, make sure your next phone call is to the stake president and the bishop so that they also stay in the loop on what's happening in the meeting house. All right, I know I've covered a lot of stuff and I've rambled on, and I appreciate the time that you've spent so far listening to this. I think let me just wrap up on the last thought, and that's on fire suppression systems. Once I get an idea of who's in what building, I may be reaching out to you. I'm asking you to help me assist with draining those fire sprinkler systems. And in doing so, that will help us save quite a bit. I won't be able to get around, or I won't have contractors able to get back around to all of the meeting houses. So someone to step up and volunteer to be a part of that team is going to be helpful. Don't have to have any prior experience. It does help to have an iPhone that you can FaceTime with. So that way, if we have to FaceTime and walk you through an emergency procedure, we can do that as well. If your building does not have the fire suppression system active because we've drained it and it's turned off, just want you to kind of be cautious of that. And anytime that you occupy the building, you should initiate your own fire watch and have someone who periodically throughout the service walks the meeting house and looks for any danger or sign of fire. And in that case, it'll be your responsibility to sound the alarm to the participants that are in the building and get them evacuated, and it'll be your responsibility to call 911. So not a huge task that we're asking. Just know that we can't rely on the fire alarm system turning water off, notifying people to get out of the building, or calling the fire department and let them know they need to come put out a fire. So we're going to be those eyes and ears and that contact point during this winter event. All right, I think I've covered just about everything that I need from each of you helping out at your meeting houses. And I know this is going to spawn a bunch of questions, and please feel free to send me that text message with any of your questions. I have lots of resources that can be used to help you. I have maps that show where the shutoff valves are in each of your meeting houses. It's a big task for me to send them all out to everyone right now, but if everyone needs it, I'll get one to everyone. But instead of sending out, trying to find emails to send out to everyone, reach out to me and say, hey, I can't find any shutoff valves. Do you have a map? And I do have maps that are already planned and put together for that. There should be a map hanging in the member custodial closet. If not in the member custodial closet on the wall that's visible, part of the evacuation plan, there should be a red MSDS book, your material safety data sheets or whatever it's labeled now. And in that book, there are emergency procedures, and there should be water shutoff valves located on there. I will be going through the systems and those HVAC machines that are online that I can access. I will be turning those heaters on. If you go in a meeting house, you're there once a day or twice a day, you notice there's a section that's not on. Please take the time, push the buttons. That extra heat that you provide for it will be great. Let's make sure that during these walkthroughs that we have, I know we like to tidy up our facility and close all the doors. A lot of our older meeting houses do not have a whole lot of circulation through the corridor. So let's make sure that all of our doors are open. Open up the classroom doors, open up the wand doors, the folding partitions between the chapel and the culture hall. Prop open the doors, the double doors if you can. If they have stoppers, prop those open so that all the rooms can share each other's utilities and heat one another. So thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, send me text. We really appreciate it, and I hope that we, our meeting houses and your homes as well, make it through this winter freeze without any major damage. And again, call me if you have any questions.